Good morning, or I guess afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to the DFS Armor YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 1st of July. We are approaching the All-Star break here in the MLB season. But for today, we have a 10-game main slate ahead of us this evening. We do have some weather issues. Boston, pretty solid delay risk. New York, a very strong delay risk. And Atlanta even has a delay risk. Earlier slate, Philadelphia and Washington both have pretty strong rain risks this evening. But we're here to talk about pitching. We're here to talk about the main slate of games. We do have some wind blowing out in Tampa Bay, out in Boston, out in Colorado, out in LA, which not a big deal. Slightly in Wrigley, so obviously something to pay attention to there. But let's just take a look at pitching. Reminder, this is a first look at the pitching options on the slate. And I will be looking at DraftKings, as that is where majority of my action is. If you play in FanDuel, I cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get the stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Alright, now that that's all said and done, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, or not Atlanta, the Athletics and Tampa Bay. Pitching didn't work out for us last night in this matchup. I'm not really sure what the issue was. I was not around to watch the games. Just chalk it up to whatever. Shane Baz, plenty of upside in this matchup, coming off of, I would assume, his best start of the season. Barely, but it was his best start of the season against a Kansas City squad that normally doesn't strike out. He was dominant. We saw him with a couple dominant starts early in the season as well. So he has a ton of upside, and the A's can be susceptible to the strikeouts, which is important to pay attention to. One big issue, though, Baz has been pretty bad at home in this ballpark. His K rate is stronger when in this ballpark, but still, home runs have been an issue. Walks have been an issue. Just hits in general. I am going to be on Shane Baz just because I love the upside for large field GPPs, but it is volatile. K prop is 6.5. Juice to the under, but still a 6.5 K prop for him. Pretty strong. The other side of things, Jeffrey Springs. It's a left-handed pitcher against Tampa Bay. I'm going to play him. Lopez definitely didn't work out last night, but that's fine. Springs has been better away from home. I guess slightly better. Not like he's been dominant away from home. But 2 starts ago against Cleveland showed us the type of upside we can see out of him. First start of the season was his best start of the year. Obviously, it's been a little while, but still, I do think Springs is definitely in play. 4.5 K prop juice on the other is not exciting at all. I'll be honest. I would have preferred that to be a 5.5 number, but I do think I'm still playing Springs because he fits my left-handed pitching versus Tampa Bay mold. I am not going to be afraid to go right back to it. We mentioned Boston with some potential weather issues. Singer and Fitz, I'm going to pass on both pitchers. Burns got absolutely lit up by this Boston lineup. I think Singer is probably a better MLB pitcher right now. But still, I think I'm fine with passing on Singer and just not expecting some sort of upside performance. It's been pretty rough on the road. A lot of base runners, a lot of hits, not many strikeouts. I think we're fine. And then Mr. Richard Fitz, just not going to do it for me against the Reds. Don't really need to say much about that side of things. Milwaukee, New York. Weather, the biggest issue here for me. 60% in-game delay risk. Something we need to pay attention to. Both pitchers are guys that we've used this season a number of times. Freddie Peralta obviously has plenty of upside. Hasn't shown upside in a while, to be honest, though. It's been almost 2 months. 24 fantasy points, pretty solid. 21. Those are the only 2 starts over 19 since the beginning of May. Still, I do like his upside. I think the Mets have struggled enough recently, but Peralta's a little different pitcher on the road. More home runs, about the same amount of strikeouts, but more walks. So definitely gonna have to pay attention to him. I want to include him, but if we get a better breakdown of when the weather is going to hit, I might have to remove him. Clay Holmes, somebody that I've obviously been removing from pools more and more recently. Been pretty solid at home, but again, I just think that he just doesn't have the upside we're looking for. So I am completely fine with fading Clay Holmes. The Angels and Braves. Was there some slight rain here? Just slight chances. We'll have to pay attention to it just for timing purposes. But Graham Holmes, somebody that I'm going to utilize. The Angels strike out a ton. And while we mention it, let's just refresh to get the latest update. And second most in baseball on a per game basis because the last couple games they've been able to avoid the strikeouts, which has helped lower it. But yeah, it's basically Colorado or the Angels on a daily basis as the ones that strike out the most in baseball. Grant Holmes, don't expect a 15K performance again. That happened against the Colorado Rockies. So maybe there's plenty of strikeout upside, but 9 here, another 9 against the Dodgers. I think there's plenty of upside here. The one thing I don't like is this increase in walk. That can be an issue, especially for a guy that might be approaching some sort of innings max in his career. I don't know much about his overall career as far as the minors and how many innings he's threw down there, but still, I think Grant Holmes, obviously a spectacular option for us on this slate. Tyler Anderson, probably not somebody I'm getting to. We do know that the Braves can struggle a little bit, and Anderson tends to show up when we least expect it. But still, I just don't think there's enough upside for us on the slate, so I will probably gladly pass on Tyler Anderson. Heading to Wrigley, wind slightly blowing in. I think Matthew Boyd's certainly in play. His upside performance did come against the Rockies, but still, since 2 months ago, 7 of his 10 starts has been 20-plus fantasy points. 2 of those at 25-plus, so there's plenty of upside. I will play him. I just don't think the overall Guardians lineup is as strong as it has been in years past. And that slight wind blowing in, I think, is going to help him. I believe he had traditionally been more of a fly ball pitcher. Just because he was more of a strikeout guy. Strikeouts are down a little bit. He's better when at home, surprisingly. Gavin Williams on the other side, I don't think I'm going to get there, but I wouldn't be shocked if he has a solid performance against a very dangerous Cubs lineup. I believe he's a pretty strong reverse splits guy. Let's see if I can bring that up on my other monitor here quick while I'm talking about him. But if that's the case, I think he has more of a route to success than you might initially think. And he is in a pretty extreme reverse splits overall numbers. Home runs are better to left-handed bats, but lefties are hitting $158 against him with a total OPS of 593. That's obviously pretty solid numbers against left-handed bats, and we know the Cubs are going to roll out a bunch of them. With that said, it's super volatile. I just don't know if I'm going to get there, but I kind of want to, just based on those numbers. I wouldn't be shocked if Gavin Williams is like a sub 5% owned type play. Since I'm bringing that up, we might as well just take a look at potential ownership numbers on DraftKings. Hopefully we have them. Not really sure. I have not looked yet. And we do have ownership. Gavin Williams, sub 5%, sub 4%. That's something that's going to intrigue me because we can get to 10%, be overweight on the field, and not put ourselves in a horrible position. But it is a volatile spot, so I don't blame you for wanting to initially ignore him. but he's been so good against left-handed bats that I'm definitely intrigued enough. Baltimore, Texas, Jacob deGrom. There's some talk about deGrom potentially being a Cy Young guy this year, based on all of his injury history and the comebacks and etc. It probably would be a pretty good story. 31 plus fantasy points in like 3 of his last 8, roughly. Yeah, 3 of 8 starts, pretty strong. 24 and 27 in 2 of the others. I like the spot. Baltimore's offense hasn't been overly dangerous. He absolutely dominated them the first time he faced them. His numbers at home are filthy. He actually, strikeout rate goes down when at home, which is kind of shocking. But still, deGrom going to definitely be in the pool. Brandon Young definitely not going to be in my pool. Just not interested in him as a pitcher. Nothing to do with being afraid of the Texas offense overall. I just don't like that spot or that pitcher. Houston, Colorado. I don't think I'm going to get cute and play Colton Gordon, but he's at least in consideration because he is taking on the Rockies. The problem is his ceiling so far has been less than 21 fantasy points. A couple of 19s, but I just don't think I want to go there in Coors. I just don't think we need to go to Colton Gordon, to be honest. I think that's getting too cute. K-prop of 3.5. Juice is on the over, but still, it is a 3.5 K-prop. We skipped over a couple of the other guys. Grant Holmes at 6.5, juice to the over. Williams and Boyd, 5.5, juice slightly under. Jacob deGrom, 7.5, but juiced under. We do have some decent K-props, but then we have some pretty low ones on this slate. San Francisco, Arizona. Man, what has happened to Zach Gallen this season? I really have no idea. He's just been atrocious, especially at home, and that's been his calling card so far at the major league level. He's been just dominant at home up until this season. Probably going to pass on him, as much as it pains me because I am a Gallen fan, unless I realize that he's dominated San Francisco over the years. I just think we have to play wait and see with Zach Gallen, see if he figures it out. Hayden Birdsong, I'm going to end up passing on him as well. Not great against Arizona the one time he faced them. Been slightly better away, but still not very good. Decent K numbers, but still. Just don't think he's worth investing in on this slate. Kansas City, Seattle. Lorenzen is intriguing a little bit, just because he's traditionally been a reverse blitz guy. He hasn't been good on the road, which is obviously a worry. A lot of home runs allowed away from home. Obviously, it's still a solid ballpark for pitching, but probably going to end up having to pass on Lorenzen. Might be just too cute. Emerson Hancock, probably not going to make my pool either. He's had a couple of recent solid starts, 20 and 20, nearly 26 fantasy points. But just not a big K guy. Kansas City doesn't strike out a whole lot either. A lot of walks, home run potential issues. I'm just going to pass on that game probably. Lorenzen most likely won't make it. Shane Smith, a guy that I've been impressed with, but his last 2 starts have been atrocious, and I'm just not going to use him against the Dodgers. The other side, we get Yamamoto against the White Sox. Hard to not just want to plug in Yamamoto probably as the top pitcher on the slate. Take a look at the ownership quick. Just 24%. Seems really, really low. Like, I don't think there's a huge difference between he and deGrom. deGrom probably has been more impressive from an upside standpoint, but his matchup is obviously a little more difficult with Baltimore's power. So if you're telling me I can get Yamamoto at 40% of the ownership of deGrom, I'm probably going to take it. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching options. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell, and get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., links will be in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly.